Guys, guys. I don't know what we're gonna do to stop Man City because these guys are like a runaway train. And I know some are gonna say, well, they're only top because they played more games than Arsenal. Let's be honest. They're not competing with Arsenal. And Erling Haaland. I mean, what can we say that hasn't been said already? We all predicted this, right? What's going on, guys? Manchester City. I mean, right now, I don't even know if they've got out of first gear, and they're already top of the Premier League. Yeah, as I said, Arsenal got a game in hand, but they're already pulling clear of Liverpool. They're clear of Chelsea. They're clear of Man United. Who can stop them? Can they be stopped? And when I say stopped, I don't mean a game here, a game there. I'm talking about can they be stopped on their march towards a third Premier League?
Well, I'm gonna have to say no because obviously, without going off a tangent, but that was my prediction. I predicted Man City to win the league at the start of the season. So for me to say, you know what, they could potentially be stopped if this happens, or if Liverpool starts picking up points and they change their run of form, or XYZ, that kind of just goes against what I said at the start of the season. So, I mean, I didn't expect them to run away so clear already. And when I say so clear, like I said, Arsenal's second with a game in hand, but Arsenal is not their competition right now. Arsenal have had a very good start to the season, but I don't think anyone expects Arsenal to keep up this kind of form for all 38 games in the Premier League. So Arsenal, for now, isn't their competition. We never know. 25 games from now, Arsenal might just be their competition. Arsenal might still be in second and the team that's 2 or 3 points behind them. So Arsenal might turn out to be their competition. But I don't think anyone right now is realistically taking Arsenal as their competition. So to answer your question, I mean, no, I don't think anyone can stop them. I think early signs are showing that this is going to be one of the more comfortable ones in the last 5 years, their league title.
I'm going to bring up the table just now. And you look at it, and I said, obviously, it's only 7 games. But, that's not the table. Yeah, I got the table. Yeah, it's only 7 games. But look at the goal difference already. It's plus 17. It's plus 17. 23 goals scored. That's over 3 a game. 3.3 per game. If my maths are correct, or no, just over more than that actually. 3.3, 3.4, 3.5, something like that per game. That is ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. They're unbeaten. Them and Spurs are the only unbeaten side. Now, of course, we know Invincibles. If we're going to be honest, like the way they're going, and I know it's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. But they're the only team that you can look at and say, oh, I wonder if they can break this record. I wonder if they can break that record. I wonder if they can go unbeaten. I wonder if they can do this. I'm looking at it today like they might go. They might get another 100 points this year. Like 100, Centurion side is bad enough, but I'm like they might get another 100 points this year because how do you stop them now? They got a draw with Newcastle, 3-3. It came back from 3-1 down, I think it was. They drew 1-1 with Aston Villa. But what is different about them this year is that in all the games, they're not always 65, 70% dominant. Not in all of them. But they've got a killer up front, which means that all they need is one chance. Whereas in the past, it's like, when, since Aguero wasn't the player that he was, and then obviously he left, they will be dominating the game like they were. But your kind of hope was that, well, if we can be more clinical than them, we can win the game because they're going to be passing across. There's no striker, that false nines, all that. All the strikers ain't good enough, whatever it might be. Now, whatever striker you put up the other end, I would say bar one, he's better. And you could even say, even including that one, he's more clinical. Like you can't out clinic Man City now, and you're not going to outpass them either. So what you do is it's a prayer. You're just hoping and praying that today they're a bit off, and today you're at your best. I don't know what you're thinking, Ramsey, because yeah, it's worrying. Man. It's worrying.
The answer is simply no. And that's it. Good night. End the stream.
Oh, thanks
They
for
can't
joining,
be
man. Start the
stopped.
video.
They're going again. They're they're on the steam train. So what are they? 4 in 5 Premier Leagues.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, they currently
they've
got
got
4 and
4.
5.
Yeah, 4 in 5. And listen, if it becomes 5 and 6, I mean, we're talking one of the greatest ever Premier League teams ever.
Wait,
Like,
we're already talking one of the greatest ever Premier League. So right now they are the second greatest Premier League team ever. And I'll say second. I'm saying because Man United is first, but you could argue Man United over 2 different periods, so they might be third. But we're talking. Man United got 5 and 6, either side of the three-peat. Am I right? No. One three-peat was 4 and 5, and the other three-peat was 5 and 6, if I'm correct. Man City are about to they're gonna get 5 and 6, which you could argue eliminates the 4 and 5 one, especially if they're going to win Champions League this year, which of course they're always one of the favorites, if not the favorites. I'm worried, man. I'm worried. Like, it's a genuine question. Are we the farmers now? The farmers that we cuss all these other leagues about being this, that, whatever. You can only do it because it's that league. It's easy. One team league. It's not competitive. That's why they can do better in the Champions League, because it's not competitive. Are we the farmers?
The thing with City is that they're making everyone look awful, and it's actually the teams that we have are actually not bad. You've not got bad teams in this league, but when they play Man City, they make them look awful. They make all these teams look awful. I genuinely think if these teams were in other leagues, they'd finish higher than they would in the Premier League. But when you're playing against a team like that are just relentless and they just don't stop, like it's like everyone just gets slapped up. Wolves were done after 2 minutes of this game. The game was over, finished. Like, it was finished before they even blinked. 1-0, and that's it. The game was done from there. 10 men, and they were looking to see, all right, let's just try and keep their halftime team thought was, let's just try and keep this to a minimum. That was it. Not can we get a point? Let's just keep this to a minimum. That's how it is. That should never be like that in the Premier League. You should always be looking to try. But when you're playing against Man City, they're the exception. They are the exception. And Liverpool, when they're on form, you can say that. But the problem is, the thing is with Liverpool, obviously, they have to go and match Man City game for game. Like, that's the only way they can be stopped. And they can't. Liverpool are proving that they can't keep up to that level. They did it 1 year, and when Man City weren't at their best, and the years afterwards they're just a game behind. Like in two of the last 4 years, they're just like a game behind, and they can't quite get there. And now they're not even there. They're far away. I know. Okay, last year Man City gave them a head start, and then they kind of clawed it back towards the end. But again, the same thing's going to happen this year. And the problem I have in comparison to Man United's teams now is that I look at that team, and providing they all stay in the Premier League, the likes of Erling Haaland and Foden are just going to get better. So it's like, you see the Man United team, and you think, by the end of that, you think, you know what, okay, my man's getting old. Yeah, my man's getting old. It's a new era, bringing in new players. So this Man City team just looks like this is Haaland's first year. Yeah. This is Haaland's first season. And if he stays for another 3 years, how can he stop them?
Well, this is the thing. And because it's like the league's changed in the sense of, and I say it's changed, we'll have to wait and see, to be honest. But it's changed in terms of the money aspect of the league, how it's just gazumped the rest of Europe. In 2009, so that was our second three-peat, the end of the three-peat. So we won the Champions League 2008, got to the Champions League final 2009. We had Rooney, Ronaldo, Tevez. Like, that is phenomenal front three. Like, and if you keep that, your argument would be, if you keep that for the next so year, who can stop them? They'll win every Premier League because they're unstoppable. But Tevez goes off to Man City because the Glazers don't want to give him a new contract, and Ronaldo goes to Real Madrid. Who's buying Premier League players in this like at their
Mm.
peak or approaching their peak. It's not really happening now. Haaland chose Man City over a lot of other teams, so he's here. He said at least for another 3 years. In 3 years' time, our foreign league can they even afford what Man City are able to pay? Other than PSG, probably not. So it's going to take
Only Real Madrid. But if Real Madrid buy Mbappe, that's it. That's literally it. Done.
When you say it's done, in terms of what?
Like Haaland won't leave.
Oh,
I can only see Haaland going to Man City to Real Madrid, and if they
no,
buy
not
Mbappe,
Barca. Because Lewandowski's 30 odd.
Barcelona.
Well, that's the argument, isn't it? Have they got the money to afford Premier League players? In the past, Real Madrid and Barcelona had the money. They will buy whoever they want when they want at their best. Now, yeah, Mane left Liverpool. Great talent. He's 29, 30 years old. Like if Ronaldo left Man United at 29, 30 years old, I say fair enough, innit? He gave us 7 Premier Leagues in 9 years. Fair enough. 2 Champions League. But we were losing players from the Premier League at their best. Gareth Bale at their best or approaching their best. I don't think Man City have to worry about that. Not really. And when you got Pep, even if you lose a player, a Leroy Sané, it's like it doesn't even matter. It's like, all right, well, I was preparing for that for like 2 years anyway. Here's someone from here's Carlton Palmer, whatever the guy's name is. Right.
Trust them man lost Raheem Sterling and it's like nothing ever happened.
They were happy.
Jesus,
they got rid of Sterling.
Keep moving. Keep it moving.
They were happy. Listen, what's his name? Daniel Levy, Ferguson. They didn't let their best players go to the rivals. Heinz went to Real Madrid instead of Liverpool. Modric went to Real Madrid instead of Chelsea. Man City said, I don't care. You can have Sterling. You can have Jesus. It don't make one piece of difference to us. It is.
Mate, they got rid of one of they let go one of their greatest ever strikers, Sergio Aguero, to go to Barcelona because his time was done. And it just looks like, and you know what I mean? These are the errors that exactly what you said, Neeks, about Ronaldo and Tevez. Like, these are the players you think, yes, go so that we can have a new challenge now. That all that meant was that someone else is now challenging Man United for the Premier League. Not because you're going to replace him with the next greatest player of the world coming through. I mean, we all knew what was going to happen in terms of how good he was going to be. Like, because he's that good, you can kind of see that he was just gonna. He's a goal machine. But like, if Haaland stays in the Premier League for the rest of his career,
we're done. We're finished. No, we're finished. Like, because what do you do? You have to go out and get Mbappe. That's
you would have to.
Yeah,
You would have to.
That's your only answer. That's your because who else? There's nobody of a similar age. There's nobody of a similar age.
What do you mean, Darwin Núñez?
Somebody predicted that Núñez will score more than Haaland. More fool them, because what were they thinking? I don't know. I have to have a word with them when I find them.
Yeah, you have a word. You have a word.
I'll have a good word with that person because no, but it almost like who? If not Mbappe, who? Because anyone you name is 30 plus, end of career. Ronaldo, Messi, forget about it. Lewandowski's 30 odd already. Benzema's 30 odd already. That's it. Kane's come touching 30. Like,
Mohamed Salah's touching is 30.
If anyone bought Kane now, 2 years you can compete with Haaland. But after that, Haaland is getting better. And I say 2 years you can compete with Haaland. You're hoping. I don't know what Kane is. We have to say at the end of the season. Kane may not even be in competition with Haaland come the end of this season, let alone next season after. So it's literally Mbappe, Haaland, or bust. It's Real Madrid and Barcelona / Messi, Ronaldo all over again. It's literally, that's it. There's nothing you can do. I'm not saying they can't lose again. I'm not saying they're going to win every single trophy. But at that point, I would actually hope that someone in the league buys Mbappe. because at least in La Liga you had them two against each other, so it wasn't always a form of
Brother,
confusion.
You just bet, you better not. You better hope it's not Man City buying him.
That's what I'm saying. No, Ramon, stop it, man.
They can't do
But
that.
Neeks, other than Manchester United, who right now are not in a good place in terms of stature and competing at the highest level,
Yeah.
no one can afford
Chelsea.
Mbappe.
Chelsea can.
No, man.
Chelsea can. Definitely.
Did you not see the contract that he just signed at PSG to better that contract to make him even think, let me come. It's only Man City or Man United. Nobody else.
I'm not
Can do
expecting,
that.
when I say Mbappe, I'm not expecting Mbappe now anyway. I'm talking about, because Rosa, if he stays for the rest of his career, so I'm talking about over the next however many years.
Fair enough.
You're hoping that you drag someone through your academy who don't end up, going to prison, who can become the next best thing. That's what you're hoping. That is what you're hoping for. Like, this is painful. No, okay. David says Mbappe and Haaland are not the only good attackers. You're right. They're not. They're not the only good attackers. But
they're the only two. But they're the only two super elite attackers.
They're the only two on that level.
Yeah.
There's no other young attacker in world football on those two's level.
It's just like when Messi and Ronaldo were 24, 25. Yes, they're not the only two good attackers, but they were the only two on that level. No one else was as good as them.
Yeah.
No one. It was literally just them two. Hence why it was 10, 11 years in a row with nothing but them two Ballon d'Ors. No one else got any because it was only them two that at that level. And it's the same with Mbappe and Haaland. There is literally at that age bracket, because you could say Salah, like you said, Salah, Kane, Lewandowski, Benzema at the moment, but they got like 2 years at best at the current level. But Haaland and Mbappe could easily have 10, 15 years more at this level. So there's no one on that level right now that is going to be able to compete with them. Like, it's ridiculous.
David, listen, I remember I had this debate with, I think it was Terry, and it was about Man United should go get Ivan Toney, good player, whatever. And my argument wasn't even that he wasn't a good player. That's not my argument. My argument is if Man City are signing Haaland to go and sign Ivan Toney as competition, basically, that's what you're doing. You're setting yourself up for failure. That isn't a slight on Toney, but there's no way unless your inside forwards are on the level of a Mo Salah. So you say, well, Toney's just there to supplement. So he's not the goal scorer that's going to match Haaland. Your inside forwards are, which they're not. Rashford, Sancho, Anthony, Elanga. That's two different people, by the way. They are not. They're not on that level. So what are you getting Toney for? Like, what is the end of that? What's the goal by getting Toney? No, that's why Liverpool went and got Darwin Núñez. It may turn out to be a bad signing, but you have to go out and get Darwin Núñez because you have to go out and get it's the unknown. Because unless it's Haaland or unless it's Mbappe, it's the unknown. We need to go and find the next gem because the current gems are unattainable or at our rivals. So you go and get Darwin Núñez. It don't work. All right, we're going to get Isak from Newcastle. And you hope it works. It don't work. What's that Sorloth guy who was at Salzburg and he's gone to Leipzig? I think that's Sorloth. And they talk about him. You have to go out and try and get the next thing unless you make it for academy. Because what is out there right now, Toney, Mitrovic, they're good. But they're not Haaland. So, and if they're not Haaland, or you ain't got someone in your team who can match him for goal scoring, you're conceding defeat already. You've accepted win the Premier League. You can win a cup competition. Cup competition is a one-off game, but you conceded you're not winning the Premier League already. And I think that's the situation we're in right now.
And the thing is with Man City is the rest of that squad around him doesn't have to be elite because.
But they are elite. That's the thing.
No, they've got a lot of good players, but they don't have to be. They don't have to be the best. You don't have to have the best centre back in the world. You don't have to have the best goal. They don't have the best goalkeeper in the world. You don't have to, because but the thing is, they'll come and they'll replace, and someone comes in. I understand, like, so let's just say, for example, Cancelo, right? But one of the best fullbacks in the world. If Cancelo is out injured for the rest of the season, they're still going to win the league. We weren't talking about Cancelo when they had the fullbacks of whoever they had before, when Mendy and Kyle Walker, and they were winning the league back then, because they just had enough to get them through. Then they brought in Ruben Diaz. We weren't talking about Ruben Diaz is now becoming one of the best centre backs in the world, and he's 25 years old. Like, we weren't talking about that, but they just find the right players that just fit the system well. They don't panic. They just get him. Akanji will probably be the best centre back in the world.
Wait, I don't even know who his brother is.
Well, one of my boys supports Dortmund, said, he's sloppy, he's a bit of a mess, we didn't want him anyway. Brother, just give him 1 year to just slot in there. And
I think the only player that Man City have signed who I said was sloppy and was rubbish, and they're going to regret signing him, and that's because I watched him week in, week out in the Liga, and that was Bravo. And they went and they signed him next year, signed Edison, and said, this guy's done for. But apart from that, I think most of their signings have been
Mangala.
Yeah, Mangala. Let me ask you a quick question. You see Haaland, right? You showed the league table earlier. I noticed something. They had plus 17 goal difference, right? But they had scored 23 goals. It's an odd number. But Haaland's got 11 league goals, so he's averaging almost 50%, half of their total league goals. If they go on to score 80, 90 goals, does Haaland get 40, 45 league goals?
All I say at that point is Darwin Núñez has a lot to do to catch him if he's going to still win in a minute. That's all I'm going to say. Listen, I have to address the elephant in the room, innit?
No, Neeks, you got to compare that, man.
No, you know what? The season's over. The season's over. I'm holding on to it. I can't go early, because you know what the thing is? I want to go early, but I can't go early. Because if I'm wrong today and I'm wrong at the end of the season, I'm still wrong at the end of the season. Like, nobody's going to care that on the 17th of September, I admitted I was wrong. Come to the end of the season, I was wrong. I'm not going to be wrong twice. I'll be wrong once. I'm not going early. The season is long. Anything can happen. I don't wish injuries on anyone, but anything can happen. So I'm not gonna hope and pray, but I'm just saying anything can happen. But it's not looking good. It's not.
What's Darwin on? 2?
Is it 2? Did he score 2 against Fulham?
Yeah, he scored.
Or was it one? No, he scored one on one, maybe one after. I don't know.
I know he scored 1 in the Community Shield, 1 against Fulham. I don't even know if he scored again after that. He got the headbutt. He got the send off.
Yeah.
No, he's only got 1 league goal.
So he's trailing 10 behind, and Haaland's scoring in every game so far.
10.
So I'll be honest.
Oh,
he'll do good to get 10s from now to the end of the season.
Lord have mercy.
I'm sorry, man.
And the thing is, Liverpool already had their 9-0, and he went involved.
Yeah, he needed that game he needed to get like 4 in that game. Even my bloody top scorer prediction is looking. I'm about to say it's looking bleak. It's done. Salah's on 2 goals.
Yeah.
I don't know why you lot strayed from the brute. Honestly.
Straight from the what?
The brute, Erling Brute.
You say stray from him. He ain't playing the league yet. He's straight from the Salah. That's a stray. Like, Salah's been doing this. I can't believe. Anyway, listen. Now, the point that David made was I was going to say, because we talk about if someone stays here forever, stays for the rest of their career. This is it. like United, the only way to stop the dominance is to change manager. That's it. You think that he's gone. It's our time now. It's not. As long as Pep is there, it's long for everyone. Like it's long for everyone. You will eke out a league title. You will, one season here, one season there. But as long as he's there, it is long. And I think that's if Haaland left in 2 years' time, Man City are still winning the league. As long as Pep is there. They'll win it with Isak. So, sign Haaland and finish second, and Man City will win it with Isak.
Yeah, they will.
So you're right, David. That is literally it. And I don't want to take away from the players, but because the players are still as good as like De Bruyne is as good as he is, and Haaland is as good as he is. But is Haaland on 11-7 playing for Man United? He's not. Is he on 11-7 playing for Chelsea? He's not. So it's all about Pep. Obviously, he needs good players, but it's Pep. Pep is the one. And it's like, yeah, Fergie left, and everyone, we're done. And they had a little, I don't know, how long was before Pep joined? 4 years? 3 years. They had a 3-year respite, or 4-year respite. Yeah, everyone got a chance now because Fergie's gone. And Pep just slotted right in. And it's literally, this is the Premier League. This is 90s to 2010 Premier League all over again. It's yeah, we got problems, innit? We got problems. Like a few stats for us. So this is before the game. Touches per goal, Erling Haaland, since 2020. So last 2 years. 2 years? Yeah, 2.5 years even. 28 touches per goal for Haaland, 33 for Lewandowski. So those were out-and-out strikers. Mbappe, Ronaldo, Salah, Messi, who are all more like wide forwards. To be fair, Ronaldo in 2020 was more of a striker as well. But of course, he's not a natural 9. Kane at 65, it goes to show that obviously he's a 9, but he does a lot more than that as well. Benzema does more, 67. But Haaland don't even need how many touches. And this is, again, there was thought behind my reasoning for thinking that Haaland's not going to bang 40 goals in his first season. And the thought behind it is this: touches per goal. Pep wants all his players involved. As I said, he was playing false 9s at times because the striker not being involved in the game was not what he wanted. He wanted everyone involved. So it was like, all right, how do they adapt from basically playing with 11 men every game to now playing with 10? Because that's what they're doing. They're playing with 10 men until they reach, in and around the area. Granted, they're in and around the area a lot, but 28 touches per goal is low, as you can see, compared to a lot of the other top goal scorers in world football. Yet, it doesn't seem to matter. It's like, yeah, okay, we play with 10 men, but we're good enough. We're good enough to dominate with 10 men, and we've got Haaland up front. So as I said, there was logic in my madness, but ultimately it was madness, isn't it? It's funny because last year Lukaku had those games where it's like, they barely touched the ball, and everyone was cussing him. And rightly so, because your job as a striker is also to score. So if you're not going to score, you need to be doing more. But this man just like, I don't care. I don't need to touch the ball that much. When that ball gets in the area, I'm there. Like that goal that he scored against Dortmund.
Yeah, that was
ridiculous.
Bro, the ball from Cancelo was even more ridiculous.
No, it was a great ball, but it's a great ball, and Haaland made it into a great ball because most strikers, okay, Ronaldo probably jumps as high and heads it potentially, but most strikers just going over the head, grazing top of the head. They're going for Haaland made it a perfect ball. It was a top ball already, but Haaland made it a perfect ball because who's scoring that kind of Ibrahimovic maybe? Who's scoring that kind of goal? It's ridiculous. And I was thinking, yes. game gone by, Haaland not gonna score. No, I wasn't even watching it, but I was like, oh, Man City had a shot on target. Boom, Stones, boom, Haaland. It's a joke. It's like today he scores with his right foot. Like this, where did we go from? How do you stop him? How do you stop Erling Haaland?
It's a good question, man. The managers are gonna have to think about that one. He's even doing better than. Like, you lot know how much I love Haaland already. I've watched Haaland for ages, and I love Haaland. But he's even doing better than I had thought. Because I said I expect him to get 25 league goals. I think that's kind of like his minimum. I said 25 is like his minimum. He's gonna get 25. I said barring injuries, if you don't like come and he broke his leg and he's out for 5-6 months, barring any major injuries, he can get out for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or whatever. You know, it happens. Everyone gets injured, but barring any long-term injury, I thought 25 was easily obtainable for Haaland, but he's almost halfway there, and we're 7 games in. Like, I would have been comfortable with 6 and 7 or 7 and 7. Man's on 11 goals, and
I'm telling you,
I don't know what to think.
The butcher, Lisandro Martinez, to stop him.
Yeah, all 5'2" of him.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
So the record for the most competitive goals scored by a player for a Premier League season in all competition is 44. Ruud van Nistelrooy 2003. I remember that commentary on I think it was FIFA 04 or 05. They always refer back to he scored over 40 goals in his first season in English football. Damn,
yep.
Where it was. Mo Salah 44 as well, 2017-18. Now it says Erling's already 29.5% on the way there. That was before this game. It's now 31.8% there. How many goals has he scored this season in all competitions?
11, I think.
No, he's saying he's asking how much.
How many
by the end of the season? By the end of the season, how much?
How many does he get in all competitions?
Oh,
does he break the? Okay, first off, does he break this record? 44.
Yes. I'm gonna say yes.
I won't be surprised. Neek said to me at the start of the season, "How much goal do you think Haaland's going to get?" I said 30, all comps.
Wait, who said 30?
Me. I said 30. I said scoring 30 goals, all comps. What's all comps? I need goals. I said, all right, okay, I'll say 20. I'll say 20 in the league. You'll get. Boy, he's hitting 40 goals. He's hitting 40 goals. It's got to be up already. He's hitting 40 goals this season.
So at the moment, he's on 14 in 10. Last season, he got 29 in 30. So a goal a game, effectively.
It's the injuries. Only thing is injuries for me that can stop him. That's the only thing that can stop him. We've seen it before. Him getting injured. Pep said he was going to rest him, but hasn't rested him yet. No. So that'll be interesting to see if he does keep going, if he does pull up, or if Pep does. Pep has to stop. Yes, he has to, because I think Pep knows he has to just be easy with it. But the only issue is, my man's getting a month break in December. Yep. He's getting refreshed. And coming back strong.
And that's probably part of the reason why they're able to just go for it with him, because they know that come the World Cup, his team's not in it, so he's gonna get a nice long break. What was it, like 5-week break? So he's gonna get a nice long rest.
Break and then
ready. Like 5-week break.
October is going to be interesting because it's literally helter skelter between after the international break up to the World Cup in all competitions.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how many games is he playing in order. Like, is he playing starting Carabao Cup? Is he starting all the Champions League games? I can't remember who's in their group, but they've won their first 2 games already.
But this is the thing: if Man City win their next game, they're all but through.
Exactly.
They win their 4th game, they're all but top. So
yeah, so then he might rest for the next 2, and then he might not play in the Carabao Cup, for example.
Yeah, but they got Chelsea. Yeah, but he won't play in that. Yeah, that's the thing.
But also, if you look at the way he plays, right, and I analyze this because I watched him a lot at Dortmund and I watch him at Man City, and it's actually two completely different players in the sense that even this touch map here, you look at the touch map. I mean, looking at this is exactly what I was about to bring up. When he's playing for Man City, he does a lot of poaching, a lot of playing in between the two centre backs, ready for a through ball, ready for a ball over the top. If they're really high, he's in the box waiting for a cross. So he does a lot of waiting and patient waiting and little jogs here and there, like little burst sprints. Like, all right, I'm about to make a run. Have you got a through ball for me? Whereas at Borussia Dortmund, he did a lot of coming from deep, getting the ball and just charging forwards. He would muscle his way forward. He would run through past defenders. Whereas Man City, if they're keeping 60-65% of the ball, right, he's not having to do much work. And like you say, like he's getting through games where he's getting all 12, 13, 14 touches by like 70 minutes. So he's barely involved. So the question is, how burnt out is he getting in these games? Because he's not working very hard.
So the risk of injury is much
lower.
Exactly.
Yeah, the risk of injury is much lower. And Haaland loves to get early goals, and then Pep brings him off by 70th minute. He's all good. So I mean, he will get rested inevitably. He will always get rested, but how much? I'm not sure it's as much as we all thought at the start of the season. Oh, he's got this risk of injury and he's going to be rested quite a bit. I think between the way Man City play and how much he's being utilized in a match game, I think you'll see a lot more minutes than either of us anticipated.
Yeah, I mean, I hear that because especially in the Bundesliga, everyone plays with a high line, so you're playing.
Yeah,
everyone's much more involved in the play before it gets to the area, whereas generally against Man City, people are sitting at the edge of their box, so it's up to the defenders and the midfielders to bring the play up and bring it to Haaland. So I agree, and as you said, in most of the games so far, I'm sure he's been coming off around like 70 odd minutes or so, and he's already got a couple goals. So whereas at Dortmund, he's pretty much playing 90 minutes every game.
Yeah.
And as you know, because Man City are so good, they can afford to do that because the game's already won, or they've got the quality to go and win the game even without him on the pitch. So, and it'd be interesting. I'm not sure. I haven't really studied his injuries. A lot of it could be to the fact that he's a growing lad. He's a young guy. You're growing. You're going to get those injuries. True. As he gets older, and you know you're in your body. Those injuries, if those are the reason for it, they may end up reducing. There's a comment there from Red Devil Studio. Big up yourself. Make sure you go subscribe to his channel. He says it's weird because I still think this City team can be stopped, but the mentality by a lot of teams in the Premier League is to give up before they've kicked the ball against them. I agree with that second part. I think some of these teams are just, it's like all sense goes out the window. It's like they see the Man City game, it's us a free hit. We just do whatever and see what happens. Whereas there's the tactical analysis and going into that game sometimes doesn't seem with it. Maybe it's harsh to say maybe they do have the tactics, but Man City are just that good. But what I've seen from Man City, and I think it is the Haaland effect, because they're playing with 10 men basically until they get to the edge of the box, and they have that killer. So they're trying to play a lot of times. I see De Bruyne playing a ball much earlier than he would in the past because Haaland's on the shoulder. So I'm going to try to play that ball behind and it gets blocked out, and then a team can counter. Even today against Wolves, where they were the far the better side, Wolves countered on them or attacked them a lot, but Wolves are just not good enough. So Wolves felt we're going to go toe to toe with Man City. I think they ended up with near enough 40-odd% possession, which is decent for a team with 10 men for 50-odd minutes. But they're just not good enough when they get into the area or around Man City's defense, and Man City's defense were pretty solid. A better team, potentially, or a team with more clinical attackers, I think you can get at them. Now, across the course of the season, there's not enough teams in the league who are good enough. Man City win the league. But Man United are playing Man City first game after international break. We don't know how everyone's going to be first game back and all that. But I think we can get at them. It's a derby. We know anything can happen. Generally, we have a good record at the Etihad against Man City. They have a good record at Old Trafford. This game's at the Etihad. I think if you defend against Man City in a low block, you have your 4 defenders and your 2 defensive midfielders, or at least 1 in front. With the pace on the counter-attack, I've seen them in trouble. Like Newcastle caused them big trouble this season. Palace caused them big trouble. And I said Wolves got into their half and into their final third a lot, but they just weren't good enough. I'm frightened of Man City because of Haaland. When they come forward, if they get a chance, if he gets a chance, then he's going to score it. Whereas in the past, Sterling might miss, Foden might miss, Jesus might miss. But go in the other direction, I feel like they've lost a slight bit of control because of the fact that they're playing with Haaland now and they're going a bit more direct than usual. So in terms of stopping Man City in a one-off game, different stage of the season, I think it's possible. But yeah, across the season, he's got to win the cup competitions. I mean, the league is like, just go for the cup competition. That's the way I look at it, man. Sammy said Rashford's on the break and causing problems. Call me crazy, but I start Elanga along with Rashford versus City. I don't know if Martial's fit. If Martial's fit, I think he has to start because his ability to hold up the ball when the ball comes in. Then you have Rashford off the left. No, I wouldn't start Elanga. I'd want Elanga's pace off the bench. So you'll start with Rashford and Sancho or Anthony. They're more creative than Rashford, but you have the pace of Rashford, whether it's down the middle or from the left, playing off the shoulder. That's the way I would go, but we have to wait and see. So did you say he's going to break the record, Haaland?
What, the 44 record?
The 44, yeah.
I think I'd have to say, yeah. I mean, I can only look at realistically because I don't think he plays in the Carabao Cup, and I don't think he plays in the early games of the FA Cup. Obviously, depending on fixture. I mean, if they somehow draw at Liverpool in the first draw fixture, I mean, I reckon he'll play. But I don't think so. I guess the bulk of his goals would have to come from the league and the Champions League, which is he's already got 3. He's already got 3 in the Champions League. I reckon he can get between 10 and 15 in the Champions League, and he can get
30 in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think he can get 30 in the Premier League and like 10 in the Champions League. He'll get as 40. So then he would have to find 5 goals in the cup competitions. I think he can do it. I think he does.
Yeah, I think he can do it. I think at this stage of the season, if he doesn't do it, he'll be disappointed because you're on 13 already in 10 games 10 games.
He's on 14. He's got 3 in the Champions League.
14. Yeah, 14 and 10. Is Messi's 73 goal a season at risk?
Not this year.
Why not?
I don't think so.
So you don't think he can continue on this? Okay, if he had 11 and 7, because 11 and 7, let me do the maths quickly. Just 7 times 11. So if he continues at this rate, 60 Premier League goals. You don't think he can do that?
No, man.
No. Okay.
No, you have to understand.
I'm just seeing.
I don't think that Messi record ever gets beaten. I'll be real, man. That's hard. Not in the Premier League because in the Premier League we've got that extra cup competition, and I just think the players will get too tired. Messi played pretty much every single game, but it's only 3 competitions. It's the cup competition, the league competition, and the Champions League, and that's it. And he can play every single game week in, week out. He must have played, 36, 37 league games when he got those 73 goals. Like, I don't see Haaland playing that many league games. I'll be very real. I don't see him playing that many.
59.7. That's what he's tracking onto.
And Messi was also the penalty taker. Now, Man City have only had 1 penalty this season.
Haaland the penalty taker. No one ain't taking that from Haaland.
No. I know he is, but hear me. I don't see them winning that many. Like it's just everyone defends so deep and Man City attack from so deep. It's just literally one through ball to Haaland or a cross into Haaland, and if it goes in, it goes in. If it doesn't, it doesn't. They don't play that style of football whereas Barcelona was that tiki-taki, one-touch passing in and around the box. Someone gets fouled, or Xavi or Iniesta gets brought down, Messi's there to take the penalty. I don't see Man City winning many penalties. They've got 1 so far this season, and they've played 7 in the league, 3 in the Champions League. 1 Community Shield. They've played 10, 11, 12 games or whatever.
So looking at the Messi 73 season, so we got 50 and 37 in the league. 3 and 7 in the cup.
Okay.
14 in 11 in the Champions League. Obviously got to the semi-finals that year. And 6 in 5 in other. So the other being, I guess, a Super Cup, Because they won the Champions League the year before, and they won the Premier League, La Liga the year before. So they were in the Spanish Super Cup, they were in the European Super Cup, and they would have been in the Club World Cup as well. So he got 6 in 5 there. That was
Okay.
a second year.
So what you're telling me is next year then?
Yeah, well, they win all those trophies this year, then he'll have a lot of games. Yeah, I mean, the 73. For me, those kind of records there, it's like I have to see to believe it. I would never predict a man is going to get more goals than Messi, or even get more goals than Ronaldo, whether it be across their career or in those single seasons. Like in terms of their most that they scored. So obviously Messi had the 73 as his most. Ronaldo, what did Ronaldo have? A 60, what was it? I can't remember now, 60, 64, 65. Let me check. Ronaldo got 60 or 61 in 2015. Can Haaland get a 61 goal season in the Premier League?
See, that sounds more doable than 73. It does sound more doable.
Well, starting with a 61, he got 48 in the league, 48 in 35, 10 and 12 in the Champions League, 1 and 2 in the Cup, and 2.
Yeah. I would never want to predict them single seasons. I mean, like you said, even like across their career, but he's on the right track. Let's just say because even at what is he, 21 or 22?
Haaland 22.
Yeah, even at this age, I think he's quite a distance ahead in terms of goals in his career, ahead of Messi and Ronaldo when they were 22.
Oh yeah.
So he's if anything, he's on the right path. He's got the most Champions League goals than any one of a 22-year-old. Like no one's got as many Champions League goals as him. So if he wants to break Ronaldo's Champions League record, or he wants to beat career goals by Ronaldo or Messi, whoever ends up the highest by the time they retire, he's on the right path to do so. And if he stays at Man City keep dominating the way they do, he can do it. If there's anyone that can do it, he can do it.
You know what's crazy about Haaland? It's like as he's moved up the levels, his goal scoring has got better to an extent. So when he was young, his first one was in the 3rd division of, I guess that's the Norwegian league, got 18 and 14. Yeah, brilliant. Then he was at Molde, which would have been the top division of the Norwegian league, got 20 and 50. So that's less than a goal every other game. Then he goes to Salzburg, Austrian league, 29 and 27. So that's better than a goal a game. Dortmund, he got 86 and 89, which is basically a goal a game. And at Man City is at 14 and 10. So it's like you think, in those earlier stages, that's where he kind of stat padded, and then it kind of leveled out or got as he got better. No, he's following the same trajectory as the Messi and Ronaldo, where at the start of their career, the numbers were Ronaldo, talented, great stuff. And as they got better and played obviously for better teams, they just went through the roof, man.
Yep.
Through the roof.
Yep. It's crazy. Think what he can do.
Yeah, guys, listen, let us know in the comments who can stop Man City. Can Man City be stopped? And who is it going to be? Liverpool, Chelsea, Potter, the best ball manager in the world, Ten Hag, Mikel Arteta, who was top of the league, Premier League manager of the month, 5 out of 5 in August until they met Manchester United. And by the time you watch this, if you're watching the playback, they may well be top again after they beat Brentford. Can they truly compete with Man City, or is the league a foregone conclusion? Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned during the international break. We will be revisiting those preseason predictions and making maybe some cases to make a few slight little tweaks after the transfer window, a few new signings. I know some people are going to look at the first 7 games and try and sneak in a new prediction. There's rules, and they must be followed. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Peace.